Men, it's time. The Lord's been saying that He has been and He is calling us back to leadership, back to headship. What's happened is that us men, have fallen into the background because of different circumstances, because of different situations. And in us falling into the background, we have not been providing, we have not been creating, we have been speaking death and not life over ourselves, over our dreams, over our futures, over our families, over our daughters, over our wives, over our sons. And in us not speaking life but speaking death, and not leading and not protecting and not being there and not being who God wanted us to be, we have allowed the women to go into a place of leadership, the place of headship, a place with pressures that were not made for them. They were put in a position where the enemy, it's easy to attack the enemy, where they've had to control everything. And we have been in the background not saying anything, but the Lord is saying that He is calling us back. He is calling us back to lead, to protect, to create, to do everything that He wants us to do. When you read Genesis 1, even though it talks about God doing a lot of things, if we are aiming to be like God, God did everything. He created, He separated, He gave names to things, He gave life to things, He authorized things. He was the instruction giver, He was the information giver. He brought things together. And this is the example that us men need to be having. This is the example that we need to follow. Follow what Jesus did, what Christ did in the beginning in Genesis 1:1. The Lord is calling us to create. He's calling us to protect. He's calling us to separate. He's calling us to bring things together, to speak life, to bring opportunities. He's calling us to lead our families. He's calling us to find out the assignment of our families, and to steer our families in the right direction. He is calling us back to a place of leadership. He's calling us back to a place of headship. He's calling us to have a voice, to speak life into the earth, to speak life over our families, over our friends. He's calling us to speak life into our futures. He's calling us to stand up and be the men that He wants us to be. He wants us to create. The Lord is saying that I have not called men just to be behind the musical instruments or the PA system. I have called men to be the head intercessors. I have called men to pray. I have called men to lead. I have called men to teach. I have called men to lead. And not just leading in the church, but leading in life, to lead the other young generation. What's happened is that God is raising up the younger generation how He wants them to be, and the older generation are not having it. So there's a battle between the older men and the younger men, instead of the older generation teaching the younger generation what to do and how to do. And so there is a battle even there between us men, because we're not going to let someone else outdo us, outrun us, do whatever we want to do. We're not going to let the other person win. We see them as a competition, as a threat. So we do everything in our power to put that person down, to put that man down, that young man down. But the Lord is calling us men to take a stand, to be the head of our families, to be the strength, to be the pillar. He's calling us. He is calling us back to be the head. And it is time. It is time to give God the yes. It's time to say to God, yes, I will lead. Yes, I will create. Yes, I will separate. Yes, I will bring life. Yes, I will speak life. Yes, I will bring instruction. Yes, I will bring the information to the world, to my family, to my business, into whatever business that I am in. May it be schools, may it be self-employed, may it be the hospital, may it be football, may it be the sports industry. Wherever we are to bring life and to speak life. We are to speak life into our families, into our wives, into our children, into our young people. We are to speak lives into them. We are to walk with them. We are to set the path. The Lord is calling us to be an example to them, because they are looking for an example, but they cannot find one. So the Lord is calling us men back into a position to be seen, to be heard, not to be silent, not to just come home and sit on the couch and do whatever and let other people do whatever they want to do, but to bring order, to bring structure, to bring information, and to walk with people, to set the path, to be the example. We are called to be the example, to be the protector. The Lord is calling us. Men, it is time. It's time for us to stand up. It is time for us to shake off anything that's happened in the past and to start fresh with God, because he is calling us. He is wanting to do a new thing on the inside of us, but it's us that need to accept it. It's us that need to say yes to God. We have not been saying yes, but we have been sitting in our own pity. We have been licking our own wounds. We are to be submitted to God and to our families. We need to be submitted wholeheartedly. Men, it is time. And we'll see you next week on CB Fire TV.